Yeah. Hey guys, so this is a long anticipated video for those who have been following me and just curious to really learn more about us. So this is story time about how we met. So if you're interested, and I'm sure you've seen the caption of everything that has gone down, just stay tuned for more. Right, so we basically met on Instagram. We met on Instagram. How did you follow me?
I saw a picture of her through one of my friends, and that's when I swiped up and I asked him, "Yo, who's this?" And I saw this beautiful girl. Of course, I'm gonna ask who is she, and I asked him if that's his girlfriend. He's like, "Nah," and I told him, "You sure, bro? Because I'm about to hit her up right now." And he's like, "Nah, it's not." I'm like, "You know what? Cool." So
that's how you followed me. I don't remember following you back, or maybe I eventually did. But anyways, yeah, I run my business from Instagram. I have an online business, and at this time I was showing up on my story every morning and just showing the products, talking about challenges. It's in health and fitness. So I was always just trying to get people to join my 21-day challenge and just also just sharing about my day and my life. So he was one of those people that was just always, well, okay, so I'm not gonna say people, but you're one of those guys that was just always swiping up. So I didn't really differentiate who was who. I was just knew it was like, oh, it's one of those guys. Let me just ignore them. And I'm a girl's girl, so I was just speaking to my girls, getting them on the challenges because I knew the guys were not serious. So I think what really set him apart and what made me finally notice him after like months of ignoring him is that he showed interest in my business and the products I was selling, the Herbalife products. So he finally showed interest, and I was like, "Oh, is he really interested? You want to take it away?"
Yeah. So this is how it starts. So basically, I swiped up. Finally, I saw a challenge, and I'm like, you know what? Let me hit her up to see, because she's very passionate about Herbalife. So I'm like, I want to join the challenge. And she actually messaged me back, which was very interesting. So I was like, oh, nice. In her story, she was talking about, oh, she always do a follow up with her clients. So I was like, okay, definitely, I'm going to get her number through that. So I eventually bought the product, and she actually got my number for real. And, the next day she hit me up. Well, when I received the product, she hit me up. And I was like, oh, hey, it was pretty good. She was asking me about it, but eventually I never used it because I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if somebody in my house threw it away, but I don't know. I never used the product.
I did call you because I do follow up, and I called you and I was like, "Okay, let me see how you make it. Let me make sure you're making it right." And then I think you did have it. You bought like multiple, but you did have it.
Because I reordered though.
Yeah, that was a reorder. So he lost it, and then he re-got it again.
Yeah, I reordered.
And that's when I started calling you, following up. Hey, did you get it? Okay, let's make it now. So you made it once, and did you use it after that? So he just bought it just to get my attention. So I guess that worked out.
It really did. It really did. Here we are.
Okay, so that's how he got a hold of me. That's how he got me to notice him. And so we would just text from time to time about that. But then aside from that, I remember you started FaceTiming me. And that's when it just got a little serious because I was like, why is he FaceTiming me? And I think I picked up one time. I was like studying. I was in college. I was studying. And he was just driving the truck at work. Yep. And not really saying much.
That's what you're on the phone.
Yeah, you were not saying much. And I was like, okay, this is awkward. And I made up an excuse to get off the phone. And he would do that like several times. Like, just call.
And we really not talking about much.
Just checking up on you. Nothing much. So I wasn't really interested at that point. I was just like, okay, this is awkward. And I have a cousin who lives in New York, which is where he lives. It's a long distance relationship. Well, it wasn't even a relationship then. But I have a cousin who lives in New York, and I go there often for like holidays. And he knew that I was going. So then you asked me, like, you told me I'm gonna take you on a date when I get there, and this was around Thanksgiving. So I went to New York. I had Thanksgiving with my cousin, auntie, and all that. And then the next day, he said he was gonna take me out. So I was like, sure, more free food. let's do it. I was just there for the free food.
Wow.
So it was a little disappointing because go ahead and take that part.
Listen, all right. So listen, whoever lives in New York, you guys already know. Around that time, New York was on lockdown. Like you can't go. There's no restaurant open. And I'm like, I have to take this girl out. Like I have to do that because I promised her I was gonna take her out, and literally right after work, rush home, showered, and hop back on my car and drive straight. And it was an hour.
Yeah,
Where you
it
were
was an
at,
hour
yeah, it was an
away.
hour away, and we have to
Yeah.
drive an hour back to Queens
Mm-hmm.
for the date. But when I took you to this boardwalk, we walk around. It was a very nice date,
It was
man.
a boardwalk.
Yeah, we
I didn't think it was a nice day. I just wanted.
So
And it was cold.
yeah, not that
It
was
was
cold.
so cold. I was shivering.
Yeah, it was.
Shivered in my boots. And we're just walking around, and I was like, "What is this?" In my head, I was like, "I'm never gonna see this guy again." And he was trying to take pictures and everything. I was like, "Why are we taking pictures? This won't go nowhere. Like, this is it."
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't until. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so yeah. After that, and I'm like, I asked her, "You hungry?" You're like, "Yeah," and then so we went, and I ordered. I had to call and order food, and then we went to pick it up, and eat in my car.
Yeah,
eat in my
those
car.
were the only things open.
So yeah, and then we ate in my car, and we had a good conversation. It was really good. It turned out to be a really good date. We were in the car. We got.
Yeah, the car part is what I like the most. Like we're just eating and talking in his car, and that's when I realized, okay, he has some dialogue. He can hold a conversation. He was actually really funny, down to earth. He was talking about his family. We're just talking about a lot of things. And I was like, you know what? I was looking at you from the side. I was like, I kind of like him. I was like, just a little bit. So yeah, and in the car, in that first day, he asked me to be his girlfriend. He was like, I know you're going back, and I know there might be some competition, so I just wanted to know if you want to be my girlfriend. And I was like,
this is okay. This is what I said. I was like, yo. So listen, I know there might be competition. Obviously, I'm all the way in New York, and you over there, and I'm pretty sure if you got competition over here, they have a better chance of winning, over me. So I always thought I wanted to make sure that to check if you have some interest in me too. That's why I asked you, yo, listen, I take you out today because I want to take you on a date. Like I want to take this serious, stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I'll think about it because it was just too soon for me. So I told him I'll think about it. But when I went back home, he was always just FaceTiming me like crazy. And I think that weekend that I went, I think did I see you 2 days in a row? Like back to back?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, he drove like after work the next day. During work, he was talking about, I miss you. I just want to see you. I wish I didn't go to work today. All this stuff. So after work.
No, I really did.
Yes. After work, he drove back to come see me again. And like I said, nowhere to go. So he actually came into the house, and we were just hanging out in front of the house. And I think I was leaving the next day, so he just made sure, we had another moment together. And then when we got back home, he was always FaceTiming me. And just always, just every morning, good morning, keeping up with me, talking to me. And I'm like, at this point, it's like weeks go by. He's so consistent every day. I was like, it already feels like we're dating. Sorry, y'all, my device died. So if the quality looks a little different, it's because we're using another one. But yeah, I accepted it, and I was just like, okay, I'll be your girlfriend. And I was on FaceTime. That was like a month later of me just talking to him every day and him acting like he was already my boyfriend. So that's what happened. That's how we met. That's how we finally came to be together. We talked about the long distance thing and if it would work for us, and we were like, we'll just give it a try. So 3 years later, or what, 3.5, almost 4 years now. 4 years later, it's worked out for us. Through the relationship, we've been able to remain celibate. Glory to God for this self-control.
Yeah, it was hard.
So as you can see in the caption, we're going to talk, in the title, we're going to touch a little bit about that. But I think what has worked for us and why we've been able to remain celibate is simply because we both have like those similar values. We both agreed on it. And that's really hard to find. So I commend him for it because it's hard to find a guy who actually is willing to wait it out, to have that self control. Like we've been on trips together and everything, and he's been able to like have lots of self control while we still enjoy our time. And that just means a lot to me.
Our journey to like the journey with God, so we wanted to make sure that we
what strengthened our journey, well, especially for me, what strengthened our relationship and my walk with Christ was really, we did have a breakup. So we did break up, and I know for most relationships it's not common, but it is a part of our story. There was a time where I felt like I needed to take a step back and really think if this is for me, because I knew marriage was coming up. And for me, I just felt like I need to be sure for myself, because I knew it was 100% sure, but I didn't know if I was sure or if I was just going along with the flow of things. So it was on FaceTime too. Like FaceTime needs to hire us because that's how we was living our lives for a long time. But on FaceTime one morning, I told him I wanted to break up, and I know it broke his heart.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. And even through that break, and like there's no way I could have explained it to him. He just didn't get it. But I knew that I needed it for myself. In that break, I received confirmation from God. I feel like I was able to get closer to God. And he showed me, but this is another story for another day because it's a long story. But he did show me like this is the man for me. I shouldn't be looking anywhere else. I'm in the right place, and it's just what I needed. So when I got back in the relationship, I was able to be like a lot more serious and take it a lot more seriously and just like really be all in.
Yeah, actually, when you got back, I feel like you needed it. I mean, it was tough for me, with the breakup, but I feel like you really needed that break for real because when you came back, there's a lot of a lot of change that I see in you for real, and there's a lot of improvement.
It did what it needed to do, for sure.
Yeah, it was needed, and I'm glad that where we at now.
It's been 4 years of going long distance, and I feel like, what do you feel like has been working? Like, what kept us to be able to be long distance for this long?
I think the first thing is the fact that we're able to communicate every day, like every day, morning and night, like
throughout
that.
The day.
Yeah, throughout the day, it gives us that connection. It makes you feel like you're not that far. But and also is the fact that we'll make sure we see each other every other month, so that renewed.
Yeah, we'll see each other every other month. Sometimes I'd go over him to up north, and most of the time, though, you would come down to me.
Yeah.
I think it was more convenient. Not convenient, but I think it was more intimate because I was like living alone and stuff.
Yeah, sure it was. Yeah. And I wanted to do traveling too. I wanted to be there.
He wanted to travel. He wanted to get away, come to Florida.
Yeah. And nothing. Yeah, that's what really does. And one other tip too is to make sure like if our devotions, our prayers together, how we
pray together, stay together.
Yeah, and so that was one of the big things too. We actually prayed about relationship. Yeah. All the time we do pray.
So that's a little bit about us and our story. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of us, more of, there's going to be wedding planning, there's going to be engagement story of how he engaged. Right now I'm getting my ring size, so I don't have my ring on. I do miss it. But you guys will definitely be seeing more of us. Make sure you subscribe to see more videos.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. See you soon.